Hello friends, this is Durga from IT University. As part of this video, I will be previewing Cloudera Quickstart 5.5 VM. That is the latest version. So you can actually go to Google, search for Cloudera Quickstart VM, hit enter, and then you can actually click on this link. So this is the interface to download. You can select the platform. It provides Docker image, which is new from this version. Earlier it only used to provide KVM, VirtualBox and VMware image. I'll be downloading the VMware image. Once you click this and click on download now, it will ask you to fill the form. You have to give the first name, last name, business email, company, etc. And then it will ask you to save the file. I have already downloaded and copied to my external hard drive. So this is my 5.5.0 downloaded zip file. Now I have to unzip it and open it using VMware Fusion on Mac or VMware Workstation on Windows. If it is VirtualBox, if you have downloaded VirtualBox version, you can open with VirtualBox. So double click it to expand. It will take a while because it's a 4.9 GB zip, and also it is on my external drive at this time, so it will take time to unzip. So now it is unzipped. I am copying it to the location where I create all my VMs. It's under research, big data, virtual machines, and now it will be copied. It will take a little while. So now the VM is copied. Now what you have to do is you have to open the VMware Fusion. If it is Mac, if it is Windows, you have to use VMware Workstation or VMware Player, and click on File, Open. Don't choose Open and Run, just choose Open and choose the .vmx file and click on Open. Now the VM will be opened or added to the VMware library if it is Fusion or Workstation. Then right click on this, go to settings, and the VM requires at least 8 GB of RAM if you want to use Cloudera Express, or if you want to use Cloudera Manager, which comes with 60-day trial, you need to give 10 GB RAM. I'll be giving 10 GB RAM, 240, and I'll be giving 2 process cores. I think for Cloudera Manager Enterprise Edition, you need to at least give 2 processor cores. Once it is given, you can close this. Okay. So in my case, it is not letting me to give more than 8 GB for some reason. So I'll be using only 8 GB, and we will be probably using Cloudera Express only. Let's see, and then close it. Once you change the memory settings and the number of cores, you can double click on this. Click on Upgrade. And then it will start the virtual machine for us. Yeah, I think first because it has prompted for the upgrade, unless you did that, you cannot assign more than 8 GB, because now if I go to virtual machine and click on settings, it is showing 16 GB as configurable memory. Earlier it has showed only 8 GB. So anyway, let's see. 8 GB is also good enough to start the VM and start using it for our practice purposes. So now it has started. So it comes with first let us check the operating system. I am going to the terminal. You can run uname -a command to check the operating system. It comes with Enterprise Linux 6.x, which is nothing but CentOS in this case, which is nothing but Red Hat flavor or Fedora flavor. And on top of that, it comes with MySQL database. You can log in as -u root -p for password and hit enter. For all passwords in Cloudera VM, the standard is to use Cloudera as the password and hit enter. And now you can view the databases, and these are the databases which they have provided. Main thing which you need to remember is they actually provide some well-tested dataset as well, and the database is called retail_db. You can do use retail_db and show tables. There are 6 tables: categories, customers, departments, order items, orders, products, etc. And then if you go to the browser and say Cloudera exercise and then search for it, it will take you to this one. If you click on exercise 1, it will show you the data model in detail, and then it has many things online which you can go through to practice. And also you can actually go to my channel and practice several aspects of it. I have covered quite a bit of content on these topics. So there will be another video to preview the VM from the perspective of CCS certification. So I will not get into too many details here. Now the VM is started. On top of the Cloudera components, it comes with a browser also. If you go to top and if you go to this internet icon on top and click on it, it will open a Cloudera Firefox browser like this. And it has several bookmarks. One of the bookmark you need to keep in mind is Cloudera Manager. You can click on it, and now you can see that by default Cloudera Quickstart VM runs Cloudera distribution including Apache Hadoop blah blah blah. To use Cloudera Express, which is free, you need to launch Cloudera Express on the desktop. This requires at least 8 GB of RAM and at least 2 virtual CPUs. To begin a 60-day trial of Cloudera Enterprise with advanced management features, run launch Cloudera Enterprise trial on the desktop. This requires at least 10 GB of RAM and at least 2 virtual CPUs. So right now only 8 GB is associated to this VM, and after that I have upgraded the virtual machine. Now I think I can ramp up to 10 GB as well. But even if you don't have enough memory and if you still want to practice several of these things with 6 GB, with 6 GB or 8 GB, etc., you can come out of open the terminal and then go to the desktop. So you can say cd tilde, which stands for home directory, and desktop, and hit enter, and you can run ls-ltr. Actually no need to go to the desktop also, just do cd to go to the home directory, and there is a script called Cloudera Manager. Okay, you can just run that script. You have to run as root, so you need to do sudo, and you have to tell whether it is enterprise or express. So I want to pass 2 parameters. I want to use enterprise, but enterprise requires 10 GB of memory, but I have only 8 GB. So what I will do, I will say force and hit enter. So even with 8 GB of RAM, I am able to start the Cloudera Manager Enterprise by using force. But remember that if have a low-end laptop and with 8 GB or 4 GB RAM, and if you try to do this, the services might come up or they might not come up. Even if they come up, and the performance of your laptop and the VM will be pathetic. It will not be in a workable condition. So beware of it, and make sure you at least give 8 GB of RAM while launching the Cloudera Manager, especially with Enterprise. With Express, probably 6 GB or 7 GB might be good enough, but for Enterprise, it at least requires 8 GB, because the VM have MySQL database, uh, complete Hadoop stack on this, and then it has to also need to have Cloudera Manager on it. So it will take a while to start. Now it has started the Cloudera Manager. Okay, and the username and password is Cloudera. It is automatically refreshed. Earlier it was circling saying that it requires 8 GB or 10 GB depending upon what you want to use. Now as it is started, it is asking automatically refreshed to a proper username and password login screen. Otherwise you can click on this link, click on I agree, and Cloudera is the username and Cloudera is password, excuse me, and click on login. Now we are in the Cloudera Manager. Okay, in this you have to go to clusters and then Cloudera Quickstart. Everything is in the stop state now, except the Cloudera management service. So actually if you click on this, you will get everything. So Cloudera management service is up and running, but it is in red state because there is some issue on our VM. Unless you give 10 GB or 12 GB, you keep on seeing these red signs, which are bad signs in general production clusters. You can ignore most of those things on the VM. Now you can start the services, either the services you want or all the services, and you can see that it has HDFS, which is a Hadoop distributed file system, yarn, which comes which provides the capability to run MapReduce jobs. It has HBase, it has Hive, Hue, Impala, key value store indexer, Solar, Uzi, so almost all the Hadoop ecosystem tools. So ideal is to start only those services you are required. First you need to start with HDFS. HDFS is mandatory. You have to start HDFS no matter what you want to run. If you want to run just HBase, after HDFS you can just start HBase. There is no need of any other services unless again in HBase if you are trying to access any of the other things. The other path is after HDFS you need to start yarn. Most of the other services depend upon yarn except HBase. For HBase you need to start Zookeeper also, but for HDFS and yarn on this VM you don't need to have Zookeeper. After HDFS and yarn, the technologies such as Hive, Spark, use yarn. So you can start Hive and Spark now. Hive I'm starting, and then Spark. Scoop, there are two versions, Scoop 1 and Scoop 2. Scoop 1 is a client only technology, so that's why you don't have the capacity to start this process. Scoop 2 has client server architecture. It provides web interface also, but we don't need Scoop 2 in most of the cases. So just start whatever you want. In this case, for example, Cloudera certification, you need Hive, Impala, so you might have to start Impala also. Again, to start the Impala, you don't need yarn. but we want other technologies like Hive, Spark. So we need Yarn for that. So Hive, Impala, and then Spark. These three are the main things, and also there is Flume and Scoop involved. But in this case, we don't need to worry about these things. Worry about those. They are Flume and Scoop are client-only technologies, and there won't be any daemon process up and running all the time for them. So no need to worry. They will be accessible once you start HDFS and Yarn. That being said, now we have started all the required services, whatever we want, and we will be able to access. So for example, if you want to check the version of Hadoop, you can just say Hadoop version and hit enter. So it has Hadoop 2.6.0 on this VM. You can check Spark Shell version. It has Spark 1.5.0 on this. And for Hadoop certification, CCA especially, at this time it requires Spark 1.2.1. So I will recommend you to set up 1.2.1 here. The videos are available on my YouTube channel about how to set up Spark 1.2.1. So that being said, we have a MySQL database. We have all these services of Hadoop running in Cloudera, and also we have Cloudera management service to manage the services. So you need to be now you can use this VM to practice as a developer on whatever technology you want. You can run MapReduce jobs, you can run Spark related jobs, you can practice Hive queries, Hive tables, you can practice Impala, you can develop Woozy workflows, you can try to get data using Scoop from the source database into HDFS using Scoop import commands. So everything that is required to be a Hadoop engineer, you can use this VM to practice. You can also navigate through this Cloudera Manager to get more familiarized with the Cloudera Manager as well. And also on top there are several bookmarks. You can click on these bookmarks to go to the respective technology. So for example, if you want to access HDFS name node web interface, just go to this bookmark, expand it, and you can click on HDFS name node and go to the name node web interface. And if you want to go to the resource manager web interface, you can click on this and it will take you to the resource manager web interface. And there is another cool technology, Hue. For example, for most of the technologies in Hadoop ecosystem, it requires you to log into the terminal like this and then run commands such as Hive to get into Hive command line interface. And also you need to be familiar with many Hive commands such as show databases, show tables to get the details in your database before running the queries. To avoid that overhead on regular basis and to improve productivity, Cloudera also added Hue to this. So you can start Hue service on this. Once the Hue service is started, you can click on this Hue URL. It is still, I think it is still coming up. So let's wait until it is completely comes up. Now it came up. Now I can click on Hue. Here also you need to use Cloudera as the username and Cloudera as the password and hit enter. And then it will take you to the Hue web interface, and it provides a consolidated access about the HDFS file browser, query editors. You can run Hive queries, pig scripts. You can also connect to MySQL database and run queries against the MySQL database. You can run queries about Impala. You can design Woozy workflows on this. You can also access HBase tables by going to data browsers, click on HBase. But now HBase is not up and running, so it is failing. Otherwise, you can access HBase also. If you want to look at Hive tables, you can click on Metastore tables, and then it will give whatever tables that are created in Hive. but right now there are no tables, so it will not return anything. And if you click on Hive on query editors, on the left side it will show you the databases directly. If you are using command line interface, you have to run commands such as show databases, show tables, all those things. um, if you are using Hive, you don't need to do that. And also you can upload data by clicking on file browser. You can say you can create a directory here in HDFS. You can upload files. You can do many things using Hive. So Hive is not a core Hadoop component, but it consolidates all the Hadoop technologies in one web interface, which will facilitate you to actually execute POCs, perform unit testing, smoke testing, etc. Sorry, unit testing, executing the POCs, uploading the data into HDFS. All those things can be done using one consolidated web interface with name Hive. So that's it about Cloudera Manager 5.5 preview. I hope you will enjoy the content. I hope you enjoyed the content. If you like this video, please click on the like button. If you want to provide the feedback, please use the comment section of the video. And if you have not subscribed to my channel yet, please do so. You will get to see a lot more content like this over time. Thank you. Bye.